Well, let's take a little gander over at the grain complex, and corn's my favorite, I must admit. And boy, that chart's it's pretty horrendous actually. If you're a producer, it doesn't look good. But I would say that we're about 16% off our contract highs in June. And if you kind of take a look at the value of things, from peak to trough in that contract this year, we've had about a $16 billion turnaround. So there's a lot of money left on the table if you didn't hedge or you're waiting for some higher prices. That's a pretty ugly thing, and that's been kind of a black cloud on the market because of that large precipitous drop, and we just haven't been able to. I guess we've stopped going down as of the time being. You know, we've seen the market a tad better because of the overnight news with China, but it's still nowhere near what we need to be to kind of get people back to being close to whole again. So keep that in mind. That's something that's been kind of a black cloud. We've got this deal delirium that we're suffering from. We keep having these binary events, up, down. There's no real good trend that's hard to get involved with because of what might be tweeted out or what you might hear from the Chinese government. And that's very difficult for anybody. It's difficult for us. It's difficult for the young traders, the beginners out there. It's something you have to know that you have to be disciplined and take a much bigger view of things and stay with your stops and stay with your levels, because if you want to get caught up in the day-to-day minutia, a lot of times that's just a tax you don't have to pay. You're going to get caught up in the white noise and just be static, and you'll be an innocent bystander in a market that really has no direction and is waiting for the next decent bit of news to build a story. And talking about stories, you know, one of the biggest stories we build in the corn market is the USDA report. We've got one coming in September. And as we get closer to the end of the year, and we don't have one in December, but as we get closer to the end of the year, we'll start to get a much better picture about what's actually out there. Now we're going to get anecdotal evidence. We're going to get more stories. We had some stories and anecdotal evidence from the crop tours, and things are still kind of okay. And the rumor is we might have a problem more with the soybeans rather than corn, but that's what we're going to have to start going off of, is more and more of the fundamental news as we get closer and closer to the end of the year, and we get a much better idea about what's in the bin, or at least what's coming off the fields, than we would have had when we were going in. And boy, we had a big scare about not getting in on time, and it was all going to be too wet. But it looks as though things have been able to come back, and in order to get some confirmation of that, we're going to need to see what comes out of the fields and gets put in the bin, and that's what we're going to be kind of wading into here. So finally, in my point of view, some good fundamental news to kind of get our teeth into, to kind of build ourselves a program, or at least some discipline and some rules going forward as far as what we're going to trade as far as the next trend in corn. Good luck.